The first snowstorm of the season descended on Elder's Creek, coating the streets in a fresh, silent layer of white. Families huddled indoors, fireplaces glowing, trying to ignore the unease that had gripped the town since the crash. Then, without warning, every light went out. The blackout was absolute. Street lamps blinked once and died. Televisions went silent mid-broadcast, and even battery-powered devices flickered and failed. In the pitch dark, people heard something. A faint scraping sound, like claws dragging along walls, moving steadily from one house to the next. Sheriff Miller was already in his cruiser, radio hissing with static. He flicked the switch for. The roof lights, nothing. The entire electrical grid was dead. As he drove, his headlights briefly illuminated something crossing the street ahead, tall, impossibly thin, and moving faster than his eyes could follow. The creature didn't run. It seemed to glide, its translucent body absorbing the light. Before vanishing into shadow, somewhere in the dark, a scream tore through the cold night air, then silence stopped by mid-morning. The supermarket was one of the only places in town with backup power. Its aisles were crammed with nervous shoppers, their carts piled with bottled water, batteries, and canned goods. A line stretched from the registers to the frozen food section. No one noticed when the loading dock door in the back creaked open. A faint, unnatural fog drifted inside, snaking low across the floor. Employees assumed it was from the storm, until someone screamed. In the frozen food aisle, a woman was gone. Her cart still stood, its wheels slowly turning, but she had vanished without a sound. The lights flickered once, twice, then returned, and 6 more people were missing. Those who remained stood frozen, staring at long, smeared black streaks that trailed from the floor to the open dock door. The streaks pulsed faintly, like veins beneath skin. Security footage showed nothing but static, punctuated by brief flashes of a tall, shimmering shape sliding between shelves. Desperation drove Miller to try something reckless. They chose the old Kensington cattle barn on the edge of town. Its size and single entrance made it perfect for a trap. They rigged portable generators to flood the inside with bright floodlights, betting the alien's translucent skin would make it visible under harsh light. When it appeared at the tree line, the plan seemed to work. Its form shimmered into view, the golden slits of its eyes narrowing as the lights hit it. But then, every bulb in the barn exploded at once. In the pitch black, the heavy barn doors slammed shut from the inside. The screaming began immediately. Gunfire flared in the dark, then died. The survivors outside pounded on the doors until they wrenched them open, only to find the floor slick with black residue and scraps of torn clothing. 2 people stumbled out, faces pale, mumbling about more than one inside dot in his cramped attic. Ham radio operator Ed Warner fiddled with his aging equipment, trying to raise an emergency signal beyond the blackout. Static roared in his ears, until something cut through Dot. It wasn't English. The voice was deep, metallic, and layered with distortion. He caught only fragments. Specimen located. Extraction imminent. Maintain perimeter. The transmission looped over and over, the alien syllables slithering through his mind. Ed called Miller immediately. The sheriff listened with a tightening jaw. "This isn't just a random attack," he said. "It's a scouting mission." When they played the recording for a linguistics professor over the shortwave, she fell silent for several seconds before replying, "That's not a language meant for human vocal cords. And if they said extraction, that means there's a ship coming." The alien stopped hiding. That night, under a heavy snowfall, it walked openly into town. Witnesses said it moved with deliberate slowness, its head turning toward each window as it passed. When it found movement inside, it stepped through walls as if they weren't there. Gunshots rang out along Main Street as armed locals tried to fight back. The creature moved like liquid, its body blurring when bullets struck. It answered with speed, a flicker of movement, a blur in the snow, and people simply weren't there anymore. When the storm cleared at dawn, the center of Elders Creek looked like a war zone. Entire shops were empty, their doors hanging open. A third of the town's population was gone, and in the middle of the street, carved into the snow, was a perfect circle of melted ice, a mark no one could explain, but everyone feared. Sheriff. Miller stood in that circle, staring at the woods, and whispered, "We've got one night left."